Nesio out here. I draw for fun and I make videos for fun. And today I want to talk about ReZero episode 10. Actually, before I do that, I know this is late, but time got away from me and I'm only just now doing it, so bear with me. So anyway, the episode starts with, of course, everyone being engulfed by the shadows by Satella. Then Garfield and Subaru are running, of course, towards Satella. Garfield has control over these clones of the Granny Lolly. So what he does is he wants to burst through the what's her name, Satella, using these Granny Lollies through sheer numbers. Words. So Satella comes in, she's like, I love you again. And then Garfield transforms, charges at her, and then he's caught, obviously. And then he tells the Granny Lollies to charge, they explode on impact. Garfield, like an idiot, because he's released, then he comes back, tries to attack, and while he's shouting, he's spikes come out of him. And that's unfortunate. Subaru's obviously whoa. And Satella says, I love you, which I don't know why, but when she said that, it was kind of funny because she was swaying side to side, and I thought that was quite funny. Then Subaru says, obviously, he's sharp. Then she starts saying, as if she's really happy when she's saying this. She's like, I love you. Then she says, Subaru-kun. I was like, whoa. Then Subaru was like, don't you dare call me that. He then says, the first real I love you I was given in this world was so powerful. So obviously he's talking about Emilia. No, not Emilia. Rem. And then he said to that, I love Emilia, obviously. Apparently after Rem said that, he thought that he could become a hero. And I was like, that's not how you become a hero, you nerd. You have to eat hair, like Goku. Anyway, he then says, there's no room for you in my heart. I was like, bruh, my guy, he's too much. Come on now. He then says it's easier to compared to you, it's easier loving Ekidonna and the other witches, which loving Ekidonna is not that difficult, bro. After hearing that, Satella, she pauses, she's shocked, then swallows Subaru whole. I was like, jeez. Then she starts saying, I love you, and then she starts saying, love me. I was like, usually when a character would say that, I'd be like, yeah, I back you, Gasai from Future Diary. But you're even crazier than her, mate, so it's a bit, Anyway, Subaru is clearly suffering, as she says this. And the shadow isn't actually killing him, it's keeping him there. And, supposedly forever. So Petra's handkerchief starts glowing, and so Subaru thinks Ekidonna probably knew this would happen, and the handkerchief turns into a dagger for Subaru to use to reset. I was like, oh my goodness. So then, obviously, he uses it to reset himself, stab. Then as he does this, Satella, she sees it, and then she gasps, which caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay. And then she starts crying. I was like, oh my goodness, relax. He's going to come back. You know that, right? Anyway, then we see that Satella is Emilia, but, Emilia is being possessed. And then Subaru says, I swear I'll save you. He then obviously comes back. Subaru starts shaking before he gets over to Emilia to wake her up. Then Emilia wakes up and says, Subaru, why do you look like you're in so much pain? I was like, look, yeah. Just stop, Emilia, okay? Just stop. Anyway, then he starts crying, And then Emilia says, "Don't worry, I'm here." But like, I don't believe that for a second, you know. I mean, sure, Emilia is nice, but usually at this point, she's usually screaming, saying, "Oh, it wasn't me." So I don't know what that was about. This time, when she woke up, she didn't do that. As soon as she saw Subaru, she got over herself, and then she was like nice to him. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. Anyway, what happens next? Ram starts, like, they walk out. Ram starts roasting Subaru, saying that you were meant to help Emilia, but you caused her trouble. I was like, excuse me, okay? My guy got sliced, ripped to shreds, suffered not, dying for within a person he despises the most, and is probably the loneliest person in this anime. So you'll have to forgive him. You'll have to forgive me for not backing you, Ram. How about you and Roswell go play tic-tac-toe in the corner while Garfield watches, huh? Rude boy, man. Ah. Anyway, Emilia then starts baiting him, saying, it's too bad you started crying. I was like, oh my god, Emilia, shut up. You're so annoying, man. Ah, gosh. Gosh, she annoys me so much. And then, oh my god, it actually annoys me, Emilia, in this episode. Because, like, they make her seem like she's this amazing person. It's like, she's not even that good, honestly. Anyway, oh my goodness, bro. If that was me, I'd be like, nah, you're mad. Have you seen the stuff I've seen? Have you been through the stuff I've been through? Nah, deuces, I'm out. I'd leave Sanctuary. I'd go back to the mansion. I'd be like, yo, Petra, Frederica, we leaving. Done. Nah, too much. So anyway, rant over. She says, you're always saving me. So it's nice to see that weaker side of you. Kid yourself. Moving on, Subaru says, I'd rather you not see that side of me I'd rather you not see that side of me. I'd rather you seeing the cool side of me. So you forget that I'm weak and helpless. Then Ram, she comes in again and says, it's not convincing. After all, you were just bawling your eyes out. I was like, fam, Subaru is the most patient guy. Oh my goodness, in this anime, like, he should have snapped at Ram seasons or arcs ago, man. Oh my goodness. Then Otto says that's just Ram's way of showing that she cares, to which Otto then gets a death glare from Ram. Then Garfield is, he's staring at Subaru for a minute. Then he says, oh, I'm glad you're back, which is sus. Subaru says, oh, Garfield isn't hostile. And my question is, yeah, why isn't he hostile? He's going to act up soon. Just give it time. It's probably because Subaru isn't acting confident like he usually, like the past few resets, he's been acting confident. This time he comes in, he's been crying. Thanks, Emilia. And so obviously Garfield this time doesn't see him as a threat. He also mentions that the child didn't break Emilia, which is strange. Then he says that this is the best starting point I've had so far. And then when he said that, I was like, that's kind of sad, you know. Imagine how many starting points do you have to get in order to have a good one? He's had what, like 3-4 resets? Oh my goodness. Then Subaru asks Ram to talk. Before he says anything, she calls him a pervert. I was like, what? Then he says, I've never seen you that way, to which she says, true, usually look more vague. I don't know what that, that little part was that completely flew over my head. I don't know if that was meant to be a joke for something or what. Then Subaru says, it's about Garfield. Anyway, he wants to do something and he wants Ram to keep him busy. So Ram says, I don't like that look in your eyes. I think that was supposed to be another joke. And Subaru starts running, saying, while I was in that shadow, he merged with versions of himself and other people, like then conscience. He like merged with that. Apparently, he's able to bring back more than his own life's worth. So he's now verifying those memories. he finds, I think, like it's hang on. He finds what I thought was a place where he was being kept before, when Garfield and the Granny Lolly kept him. But then we see like a butterfly on the tomb, like on the door, like we see it's a tomb, and on the door there's like a butterfly, which reminds me of Ekidona. So maybe that's Ekidona's tomb. Anyway, then he puts the gem like in the spot where it would be to like open the door. And when he walks in, he sees like the Granny Lolly in a crystal, which then leads me to my next question: why are you there? And you realize if Garfield, he sees you, it's GG. You're resetting again. Even if he lets you return by death, you still have to go through all of this by dying. He's then caught by the Granny Lolly, the other one, the one that usually wears black and has a staff. And then she's like, I'm surprised you found this in only half a day. Subaru says, without a care in the world, it's from the memories of someone who was swallowed up by the Witch of Envy. And I just thought, wow, you're just going to tell anyone and everyone now. He just doesn't care. Anyway, Subaru asks if the clone next to her is the one who led him into Sanctuary beforehand. To which we find out no, it wasn't. It's just another one. Subaru then says to the Granny Lolly in the black, I want to ask you for help. And she knows that Subaru has some sort of connection to Ekidona, because she calls him the apostle of the Witch of Greed. And then we cut to them in like a little house, and the Granny Lolly asks if Subaru knows who made Sanctuary. Also, in all of this, where is Garfield? Like, honestly. Anyway, we're told that Ekidona made it to fulfill her dream. Subaru asks what it was and what Ekidona was experimenting on, to which the Granny Lolly says, well, dude, me, like, who else? Like, have you seen how many of me there are? Like, obviously she's experimenting on me. She then asks, does knowing that she's an imitation change how he sees her? And I thought he was going to say no, but he says, I don't know, and he'd rather say no. She calls him kind and says that Ekidona created these many lives in order to add personalities, memories, and knowledge. In other words, to make a soul. So we get a cute half elf, playing God, which doesn't surprise me. Apparently, each time a body would perish, it would retain its memory and soul, making it immortal, kind of like Subaru. Which even Subaru clocks. Like, he says that, oh, it's kind of like me. And apparently the experiment was a failure. And the original Granny Lolly, Ryuzumaya, was an insufficient vessel. So my question is the trial actually to find a vessel? Since their bodies are made of mana, they don't need resources to survive. The Granny Lolly drinks tea for fun. Come on. And was one of the 4 copies made 400 years ago. She was created to be wise in order to deal with the many copies. Subaru's a bit sad, but the Granny Lolly says that she's found her purpose in her job. Then he asks what do you mean by apostle of the Witch of Greed? The Granny Lolly says basically the person who has the right to command all of these clones. Then Granny Lolly says you should have been given like a symbol or something, such as a fingernail or a piece of hair. Like my boy Deku knows now. Anyway, Subaru remembers the tea he drank, which was Ekidona's fluids. Twice he drank that. So he then remembers that Garfield was ordering these clones in the earlier part in the episode. So that means he's an apostle too. So Subaru says, didn't Garfield must be an apostle as well, to which the Granny Lolly agrees. She then jokes about being a hug pillow. Subaru cuts her off and says, "Could you not make me sound internally frustrated?" I don't know what's going on. Subaru is brooding about how he needs to save everyone, and somehow this was a cut, by the way. And then Emilia just comes up and she surprises Subaru and says, "It's a shock when you act spooked like that." I was like, "Pardon me, miss, but the moon's out and it seems to be shining on you in a type of way with your PJs on. I'd be spooked too, okay? Kid yourself." Anyway, Subaru says she looks like a fairy, as a compliment, but apparently in that world, fairies are evil spirits, so the pickup line failed due to the cultural barrier. I was like, ugh, whack. That's so whack. We get a little scene between the two. Then she says under her breath, "I wish Puck were here," which, wow. And then Subaru says under his breath, I guess, no, he doesn't say this, but I'm paraphrasing. He says, "I guess no matter what, where I go, I'm always, second best." And then Subaru says, he basically starts complimenting her again, saying that she's amazing. I was like, bruh, this is kind of boring still. Like, I don't care about your love for Emilia currently, okay? Because at the start of this episode, she was whack. So since that point, I'm like, I don't care what Emilia says. She's whack for me this episode. Anyway, so then we cut to him in the church with Otto. Like, Otto's sleeping there, all the villagers are sleeping there, and Subaru's sleeping there too. And Otto then says, "If you want to talk, I'm here," because obviously something's going on. And then when he said that, I was like, Otto, bro, you're the guy still, man. Subaru says to himself, "It's because we're friends that I can't tell you," so he doesn't answer his question. Then the next day he writes a letter saying that he's going back to the mansion. Subaru is then stopped by Garfield, who then calls him evil because of the miasma on him, which is sus because Garfield, you're an apostle. So shut up, bruv. Oh my goodness. Then Subaru says, "Why didn't you say anything last night in front of people?" Good question, Subaru. Why didn't he say that in front of people? It's almost like he has an agenda. Anyway, what happens next? After he says that, Garfield grabs Subaru by the collar and says, "What are you smiling at?" Because all throughout this, Subaru is smiling. Like, this guy, he's like, "Come then, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I can die and come back next what? Then what? Huh?" Jeez, it's too much. And then I can imagine in his head, Subaru is saying, "Bro, I'm immortal, okay? Just get it over with so I can reset. And now I know where you're going to come from. I can just avoid that part and you won't find me in it." It's too much. Then Subaru says, "You're so easy to read." Jesus, he just eggs him on. And then I think Subaru says something like, we don't see what he says. It's like, it's mouthed, and then Garfield lets him go. Then Subaru, like, he stands firm against Garfield and says, "I'm tired of your BS." I'm paraphrasing now. He says, "I'm tired of your BS, I know you're hiding something. No secrets are kept from me. My goal is to help Emilia, period. That's it. That's all I want to do." And then Garfield says, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And I'm like, bro, that's Mr. Steal Your Sanctuary, fam. He's going to take it all. He has the Granny Lolly. He has Emilia, not really. He has Ram, again, not really. Bro, he has it all. That's the guy, Anyway, he says, so Subaru says he's going to save it all. Garfield then starts like ranting, saying that Subaru knows nothing. Then Subaru responds hella quick, bang, like this. He's in such a composed manner. And then he says, "What I don't know, I'm going to learn." I'm like, yo, that's my guy, Subaru. And then when he's saying this, I'm like, Garfield, what is your problem, bro? Like, are you just jealous? Is that it? Then Garfield says, "You don't know suffering, don't talk like you know." Then Subaru says straight up, we see his eyes, like, and his face, okay. And then he says, Subaru says, "I do know. I know hell. I've seen it many times. My boy doesn't blink when he says this. He's staring at Garfield, no blinking. He's like, I know hell. I'm like, yeah, Subaru. Garfield doesn't know how to respond. Obviously, he's like, whoa, this guy's kind of crazy still. Then Subaru walks off and says, I'm the only one that needs to know hell. That's what I'm here for. I'm like, whoa, watashi wa kita. Jeez, that's some All Might action right there. Then we cut to Subaru telling Frederica and Petra to stay in the village for a while. Frederica says Subaru knows how to win the a maid's heart, which Petra agrees with. That's just a little cute thing that they did there. Subaru then thanks Petra for the good luck charm as it saved his life, which I mean, it kind of did and it didn't. Then we cut to Betty talking about ending her contract and how it's ironic. And then the episode ends there. That the last part with Betty, I didn't understand. But yeah, that was a sick episode. Oh my goodness. Oh my days. Jeez, I can only imagine Subaru's now gonna have to fight what's her name? Elsa. Oh jeez, this is too much. Oh gosh. Oh, that was a good episode. I know hell. Wow, what a guy. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you liked. Please follow me on Instagram at nesu.art. And yeah, goodbye.